Okay, we're starting on the north side of the strip. This is the Circus Circus, Riviera in the background. And we're going to be starting out basically in the old part of Las Vegas. This is this is really the remnant of the Las Vegas Strip that still exists, that hasn't been torn down. It's the side where you really get a little glitter. There's no glitter in the new part of the strip anymore. And this is the part of the strip that I like. As with most hotels, you get to see how the hotels were built in stages. You know, you had the original Circus in the short tower that you see in the foreground, and then the taller towers were built later, the last one only a few years ago. Here's Slots of Fun. This is one of the few places left with the cheap beer and the cheap food. Next to it is Westward Ho, which is probably... Now that's interesting. You get a reflection of the Riviera in the glass of the Westward Ho. The Westward Ho has had no changes at all to it. It's still the original casino/motel that it was in the past. Looking ahead, here's your glittering McDonald's and the Stardust. You can get a view of the strip. Stardust is another one of the original hotels. They have added a tower in recent years, but other than that, they did a little remodeling. Unfortunately, it's not quite as glittery as it was a few years ago. They used to have a red and blue light that went down the front of it like a movie marquee, and unfortunately they've gone to this bland suburban type yuppie look. You can see the original hotel. Yeah, here's in front of us. Here's the original hotel that the Stardust came from. It's just dwarfed by the tower that was built in the early 1990s. There again, you can see the the remodeling they did. They kind of blanded the place down a little, unfortunately. Here's another view of the strip. Unfortunately, this next hotel we're going to see does not have long to live. So we're going to go by. I'll do a little narration of it as we go by, because chances are on your next visit this place will not be here. That's the Frontier. One more view of the Stardust. Stardust is now the home of Wayne Newton. It used to be the home of the Lido de Paris from, 3 decades. For a few years, they had a show called Enter the Night. It's now got the Wayne Newton Theater, kind of coasting along in its glory a bit. You can see where they put where the Desert Inn Super Arterial goes underneath of the strip. It's one of the few places that locals don't have any contact with the strip. This parking lot here was the home of the original Silver Slipper. This hotel used to keep Howard Hughes up at night, so he bought the place and tore it down so it wouldn't bother him. I can barely recall the Silver Slipper. Here's the Frontier. This hotel is only going to be here for a few more months, maybe next year at the latest. The owner wants to tear it down and replace it with the San Francisco, the City by the Bay, a San Francisco themed resort. You go in the Frontier and you see it still has kind of the old Las Vegas charm. This place was built as the last Frontier in 1940. It was the second hotel on the strip after the what's now the Sahara and the El Rancho. It was the last Frontier that it became the Frontier, and technically it's called the New Frontier. This hotel, as I say, is going to be torn down and replaced by the City by the Bay, San Francisco-based resort being built by Phil Ruffin. This is the only Kansas-owned resort on the strip. Phil Ruffin from Wichita, Kansas owns it. He's building it in conjunction with the designer of the New York Hotel. Right here is the Fashion Show Mall. Right now it's under construction with a new addition to it. It's being expanded. I think they're doubling or tripling the size of it. Just about every hotel or every store chain in the country that's worth their salt is here. You got Saks Fifth Avenue, you got Macy's, you got Dillard's, They're getting ready to put Lord and Taylor. I think Bloomingdale's is coming here. Nordstrom's out of Seattle. Just Neiman Marcus from Dallas. Just the cream of the crop of high upscale retailing is here. Coming up here is the Treasure Island Casino. This was built on the site of the original Castaways. When Mike first came to Vegas in the early 80s, I remember going to the Castaways. It was a small family-friendly type place that used to be here on this corner. Castaways was torn down. The Treasure Island was built here in 1993. I remember when I first came to town, this place was under construction. In the foreground is these small mom and pop businesses are among a dying breed on the Strip. This Vagabond Inn plus the little stores around it. They're not going to be here much longer either, because the Venetian is going to be tearing this area out to build a new hotel. They've already got the tower you see here, plus they're building it. This has 3,000 suites. They're building 1,000 more suites behind it, and a 3,000 room hotel is going to be going up on this property in front. So this is the next wave of Strip construction is going to be taking place on this corner. But as you see, we're passing the Treasure Island. You can see the people on their way to see the Treasure Island show. Matter of fact, they're gathering here. It's going to be taking place not long from now. You can see them gathering and waiting. Famous Treasure Island ship battle show will be starting in a few minutes. We're looking down the street now. We can see the Venetian, see the Mirage Caesars Palace all in front of us. Steve Wynn built this place. It now belongs to MGM Mirage. Steve Wynn sold the hotels he owned along the Strip out to MGM Mirage. They own this entire section along here. They own, matter of fact, they own everything that you see for the next 2 miles except for Caesars Palace, which is owned by Park Place, which is a company they do a lot of business with. So it's not exactly like we have competitors along the Strip here. It's like 2/3 of the next 2 miles of the Strip are owned by 2 companies that are closely related to each other. This is a good indication of what an average Saturday night was, traffic-wise. I can remember a time when you used to breeze down this Strip. Now it's stop and go traffic. That's how many people are in Las Vegas these days. It's no wonder there's no bargains in Las Vegas anymore, because they don't need to entice people to come to Las Vegas. They're already here, and that's why the hotel rates are so high. I don't think they make a fun book anymore, at least not for the Strip. You know, there's no coupons or no bargains of any type because the people are coming anyway. They don't need to offer any enticements to people. Matter of fact, it's getting to the point they have to beat them off with a stick. Coming up here in the foreground, here's a tribute to Siegfried and Roy and their show, which has generated millions for the Mirage. We're passing the Mirage. This hotel is a phenomenal success. I've always loved this place. It's like, it's hard to believe that you're in the middle of the Mojave Desert here when you see all this water and all these lush trees. That sound of that water is very relaxing. You can see the volcano / waterfall up here. And every few minutes you have a show here, and people are gathered around here waiting for the next volcano show to start. Very, very beautiful hotel. It's held up well. The hotel's only 11 years old, and yet it still seems like it's new, and it's just a wonderful place to go and see, even if you've been there a bunch of times. We're now passing the Mirage. We're coming on to Caesars Palace. Caesars Palace is in the midst of a giant construction project. They're building phase 3 of the Forum Shops at Caesars. This is one of the last parking lots on the Strip. It's coming out right here behind these evergreens that you see here. This is going to be phase 3 of the Forum Shops. You can see where they've taken what was the turquoise towers. They've redone them in the Roman style. They're also going to be building right in front here on one of the other parking lots. They're going to be building what the Roman Colosseum, a reproduction of the Roman Colosseum. That's going to be the permanent showroom of Celine Dion. So Celine Dion is going to be performing here on a nightly basis. She's going to have her own showroom like Siegfried and Roy. Now you're seeing the Bellagio. We're back for the next mile. We're going to be going back through the MGM Mirage properties. Once again, this sidewalk was built. The idea of pedestrians on the strip was preposterous at one time. Now the sidewalks are way too small to handle the pedestrian traffic. Here's another shot of the Caesars. They just remodeled the old towers. Now they're consistent with the architecture. You can see their construction wall that they've built. This is all under construction now. Got a new sign for Bally's. This sign's only been open for a week, I think. They tore down the old sign. Bally's gave up the ghost as one of the last of the old marquee style signs that was along the strip. Now they've gone to the video, the giant TV screen format that you see common. Just doesn't have the glitter of those old signs, though. You know, just doesn't have the atmosphere. You can see the Eiffel Tower. You can see, look down, and you can see the Mirage. I'm sorry, the Bellagio. This is the corner of Flamingo and the Strip. Now, on the one last note about Caesar's Palace. This is one of the old-time hotels that survived. At one time, this was the Dunes Flamingo. Dunes stood on this very corner. Was a legendary and notorious hotel that bit the dust back in 1993. Was replaced by the Bellagio, which Bellagio's had fits and starts, but overall it's been a very successful hotel. You can still see now. Bellagio, of course, was patterned after a very modest-looking town in Italy. People in Italy were very amazed that somebody in Las Vegas would actually theme a hotel after their modest little town. I was watching the first Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 1, and the Naboo planet looked just like this. The lake, the rounded towers. Now we see people gathered for the light show at the Bellagio. They're gathered around the lake waiting for the water show to begin commencing. Steve Wynn's new Desert Inn Hotel is going to incorporate much of the same themes as the Bellagio. There's going to be a lake around the property, a lot of water. He's kind of getting away from themes. The hotels in the 1990s all had themes in Las Vegas, and the new wave of hotels here are getting away from the theme of having the hotel's named after a place or a time or a setting, and they're going to go back to just a general hotel as they had prior to the building of themed hotels in the 1990s. So there's that wave is over, although there are a few more themed hotels coming online, like the City by the Bay, which is going to be San Francisco. There's rumors that Richard Branson is going to be moving into up here down the street, building a London-themed hotel. So there's a few more themed hotels in the works, but there's also a move away from the themes. Okay, we're moving forward again. You can see the Aladdin and Paris on the left, the Bellagio on the right. Still got some additional shots. Las Vegas on a rip-roaring Saturday night, never a dull moment. So we got the police and the fire truck. Maybe somebody won $1 million jackpot, who knows, and had a heart attack and died. Isn't it ironic, as Alanis Morissette would sing? Here's the Jockey Club. These are condominium towers. This is the only thing on this section of the strip that is not owned by Mirage and MGM. It's owned by the owners. I remember seeing Robbie Knievel jump between these two towers on his motorcycle. Right now is one of the few properties that is not being developed. There's been speculation bandied about that another hotel is going to be going on this property between the Bellagio and the Monte Carlo. This hotel allegedly does not have a theme and is designed for the Generation X crowd. I haven't heard any talk about it lately, but that's the word that was bandied about for the last year or so on the Strip. Coming up is the Monte Carlo. This is now all along here. These properties were all mom and pop motels, gas stations, little fast food places. They're all gone now. Helicopter tour on the Strip. I see this back. This was, there was a trend for a while of themed restaurants. This was a Nashville themed restaurant that went bust called the Country Star. This building here is living on borrowed time. Eventually it's going to come down. This is the boardwalk. This has been kind of a little survivor of sorts. There was talk for a long time that Mirage was going to tear this place down. It's a very low budget hotel operation. It's a Holiday Inn, but this plucky little resort just keeps surviving. Here's the final gas station. This is the last full service gas station on the Strip. It recently was sold. It is going to be torn down, but this is the end of an era. Last gas station on the Strip. This is the Monte Carlo. This is owned by Mandalay Bay, the old Circus Circus, and also by MGM Mirage. This was built on the site of a vacant lot and some old mom and pop motels. They assembled the properties, tore them down, and then built a hotel on the site. This is the New York. This is, I'm surprised they haven't added on to it. It's very crammed and crowded. But now that MGM bought the Mirage properties, they own all the way out to the freeway now, so I think eventually they are going to be building onto this. This hotel didn't replace anything. This hotel was built on a small vacant lot that was on the corner of Tropicana and the Strip. This actually was built up from raw desert and was not built as a result of tearing down other properties or assembling other properties to build this one. This building was actually built from virgin desert on up. It was one of the last hotels built from the desert. Now that all the hotel properties are owned by the same owner, they're doing more to link them. And I think eventually this Caro's that you see in the foreground is coming out and will be part of the New York, and then they're also going to build all the way back to the freeway. Frontage road on the freeway, by the way, is named Frank Sinatra Drive. It's they're getting ready to tunnel under Tropicana, and when they do get this finished, they'll open Frank Sinatra Drive, and it'll finally be open. They're building it in stages. Some of the streets have been there for years, but it has no traffic because they're just little few block segments that don't go anywhere. Traveling by, this is the new ESPN zone. It took the place of the Motown Cafe. They just kicked one themed restaurant out and replaced it with another. This is the New York. Here's your Lower East Side and your Brooklyn Bridge. This hotel has done very well since it was open. It's a phenomenal resort. Frankly, I hope they build onto it. I think it's needs to have some build onto it to really do its namesake justice. Mission Industries, this is a local company that operates in Nevada and California. It takes laundry back and forth to the hotel. As you can see, servicing the hotel casino trade is big business. This is the Excalibur. This was built on the side of a trailer park that was here. This used to not be the Strip. You know, when you left this corner, you were traveling out of town. Now this is the jewel of the crown of the Mandalay Resort Group. You've got a tram that goes forth connecting the three properties that they own. This is the Excalibur. Then we're going to be passing up here. We're going to be passing the Luxor and the Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay has been so successful that the company changed its name from Circus Circus and adopted the Mandalay name because of the success, the phenomenal success that this resort has enjoyed. This is the Luxor. You can see the addition that was built on here several years back in the original Luxor Pyramid Hotel's been around now since 1993. The Addition's been around since 1996. The hotel has been very successful, has a nightclub that's just out of this world. And as you can see, these hotels have parking lots along the street. Eventually they'll come out and Additions will be built here. Been a very, very successful resort. No energy crisis, as you see. If there was a real energy crisis, I don't think this bright light would be shining today. So no shortage of electricity around here. I don't care what they say. One failure, though, is as you can see, this framework here was a mall that was supposed to be developed between the Mandalay Bay and the Luxor. Nordstrom, the main tenant, backed out. It's been a skeleton ever since. Here's the Mandalay Bay once again. Very exotic, even though Mandalay, Burma is nowhere near a bay. There is a Mandalay Beach in Ventura County, and it's kind of the theme of the hotel is kind of a theme, cross-theme between the two. This is the little hotel within a hotel. This is go straight. I want to get the Las Vegas sign. We'll start the other side with the Las Vegas sign. Whoops, you need to get over one more. I think this is a half to turn lane.
No, it's not.
Oh, good. This is the Four Seasons Hotel. This is owned by a Canadian company. This is you go in here and you feel like you're definitely in a high roller place. Whenever I go in there, I feel like I should have a suit and tie on. I feel like somebody's about to come around and kick me out if I'm in this place. Very almost rich to the point of intimidation. Now this place is expanding. They just built an aquarium here. It's got a huge shark tank. They're getting ready to build a convention center on the site. Originally this was supposed to be 2 hotels, but they're keep expanding the amenities of the Mandalay Bay, and they're expanding it. So I don't think there'll be anything other than just the Mandalay Bay here. Now I see they've landscaped this place a little bit. The last time I was here, this was not landscaped. So they've been making some improvements to the place. Now we're nearing the end of the strip proper. Now they are from here on. There's no more high-rise hotels. They have added one amenity though. They've added a new golf course. I don't know who wants to play golf with. I mean, to me, it's ear-splittingly loud noise over here. But they've added a golf course where people can come and put their little golf balls in and get their eardrums blasted out by airplanes taking off from McCarran. There's a fire station right in the middle. This fire station's been here for years. Okay, now let's go. One more and then turn to the next turn. And then whenever you have an opportunity to turn off, flip a UE and I'll narrate on the These propellers came from Las Vegas's original airport, which was out where Nellis Air Force Base is now. These are decades old, believe it or not. McCarran's original terminal was here. When people flew into McCarran Airport, they actually drove down the strip, and the original terminal was here, although it has since been torn down. None of these terminals you see is the original terminal. These are added later. These are private charter terminals. Here's the famous Las Vegas sign. This sign almost was forgotten about because people used to turn off I-15 at Tropicana. This sign, if anything's a symbol to Las Vegas, it's this sign. This sign is like what the Statue of Liberty is to New York, or the Capitol is to Washington. Here's some of your funky little tours. Here's the Klondike Hotel. Klondike this is a cheap locals grind place. This is $1.50 spaghetti dinners and such. Right here is a property that's being assembled right now. As you see, these are mom and pop motels. A lot of them are boarded up and closed. Others are just hanging on by a thread. Back one time, this is the type of lodging that you had when you had the Strip. This wedding chapel's made 3 different moves. It might have to move once more. Property is being assembled here by a bunch of European investors. They're putting what they call the World Port. One of them is Richard Branson, who is trying to assemble the property for a London-themed casino that he can fly his Virgin airplanes up to. Here you can see this area does indeed have airport access. You can see some planes parked here. One of them is Janet Airlines, an airline that people deny exists. It's got one red stripe down the tail, and this is the airline that takes people to Area 51. This is a strip mall that's opened up. This is not part of the World Port property. They're going to build around it. Here's some more additional low-budget motels. These places get king's ransoms for what you get in return. Here's an apartment. This apartment was portrayed in the movie. Was it Pay It Forward? This was the movie Pay It Forward was filmed here. Also, as you see, this is still the edge of the Worldport property. This is the site of the London-based, London-themed hotel that Branson wants to build here and drive his plane up to, and then there would be several other themed properties based on themes of various locales, and they're still assembling the property and putting the investors together and so on and so forth. The monorail would be extended down here. It's a lot of behind-the-scenes action taking place on these properties here. These look like little fading mom-and-pop joints, but believe it or not, they're owned by wealthy investors that have big plans for this property. They're talking about 35,000 hotel rooms here in all. Right now, this is the parking lot for the Mandalay Bay. This is an employee parking lot for the Luxor and the Mandalay Bay. Nothing in the works, but then since it's owned by a conglomerate, you never know. Now we're back in the area where they can build high-rise hotels, so anything's possible. Here's a view of the Strip coming up. This was the site of the Alibaba Motel. The Alibaba sign is in the Hard Rock Hotel's Mr. Lucky. It's one of the accoutrements of the restaurant now. I used to work on Alibaba's Lane, which is named after the motel. One thing about a lot of your streets in Las Vegas are named after motels. And the motel is long gone, and you have streets like Diablo and Alibaba, and people don't know the origin of the street. Now we're back on the classic Strip. This is the Tropicana Hotel. This is one of the oldest hotels on the Strip. This is a hotel that sprung from a motel. It was built here in the mid-1950s. Really nothing much has been added to the hotel in about 20 or 30 years. It's in a valuable location. There's been talk from time to time of someone buying it and tearing it down, but so far nobody has. It was owned by Astar Resorts. There has been talk that Donald Trump was going to buy this place, but so far the place hasn't changed hands, and hotel seems to be holding on. There really hasn't been much improvement to the place. I think the hotel survives by virtue of its location. It's across from the MGM Grand, New York, and Excalibur, and I think that there's enough curiosity that it generates foot traffic into the place, and the hotel thrives. It's got a good nightclub. I've been meaning to go there for years, called the Comedy Stop. You can see here an advertisement for it in the background. Here's Follies Berger. This is one of the few classic Las Vegas floor shows that is still running. I think it's been there for years and years and years. It's your classic Las Vegas floor show with the feathers and all this good stuff. Yeah, this hotel's seen a lot of history. This is one of the few places. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get a good shot of the original hotel structure because it faces Tropicana Avenue. You can tell this is one of the major hotels because it has a major cross street named after it. When I first came to Las Vegas, one thing that fascinated me was you could see the original motel /inn structures that these casinos came from, because they would naturally, they didn't want to close up while they were remodeling, so they just built around the original structure. The Tropicana, for example, the original motel structure is way back off the street. It used to be you drove down the highway and you pulled back back off the highway. I think there was another. Oh, this was Sin City. This is where you didn't want to be seen, and that's another reason that these hotels were built so far back off the road. People didn't want to know, didn't want anybody to know they were there. Then years later, when the structure's built, the additions were built in the front. You know, typically when a building is added onto, it's added onto in the back or to the side and not in the front. So the buildings got whole new facades, and that was the unusual thing about structures in Las Vegas. Here's another theme on water. You know, Las Vegas being in the desert really brings out the water. It's reclaimed water, but still people see that and they freak out because they think it's wasting water. It's not really. Here's one of the overhead elevator escalators. Street corners just got so busy that the city went and built parking or pedestrian bridges so that people wouldn't be in the middle of the street while other cars were trying to cross. Here's the MGM Grand. This is the king of the hotels in Las Vegas. This hotel was originally the marina. The original MGM was built where Bally's Hotel Casino is. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is now this structure here, originally in the 1990s when the hotel was built, you used to go through the Lion's Mouth to get in there. But the Chinese people and the Orientals, who had a lot of money, who gamble a lot because they're into lucky numbers and they're very superstitious, refused to go in the MGM because they believed that going to Lion's Mouth was a sign of death. So the hotel had to restructure and rebuild their entrance. The hotel spent $200 million to rebuild the hotel after they'd spent $1 billion to build it in the first place. City has been constantly building on. This is the city of entertainment. Matter of fact, let me swing forward, give you a good view of the strip ahead. We're about to go through a brand new section of the strip that opened just this year. This Grand Canyon is an addition to the Showcase Mall. I've never been in it. I forgot about it, frankly, because living away, I hadn't been coming down to this strip. I was going to show you the original Marina Hotel, but you cannot see it from here. This originally was the Marina. Kirk Kerkorian bought the Marina in the early 1990s, about 1990. Built the MGM Grand as an addition to the Marina. Somebody said that they ought to put it in the Guinness World Record as being the largest building addition ever built. And of course, since then it's been remodeled. They've added a lot of suites. They've got a whole village of high roller suites up here that he's built. They look like a mansion, almost like a Beverly Hills structure. It's Grand Canyon experience is brand new. Once again, this section of the strip here used to be motels, you know, mom and pop motels, gas stations, convenience stores. Now the MGM was one of the few hotels that didn't insist on buying everything in sight and owning the entire property. I believe another company does own this Showcase Mall, though they came along and tore down everything in sight and built this mall. This is basically a mall full of ticky-tacky tourist attractions. Nothing real. There's nothing here that ever got my interest. Grand Canyon was just. Well, I still don't see anything in there that looks like it's interesting. Matter of fact, you might say this is a 21st century version of 20th century ticky-tacky tourist traps. Places here and there on the top. I've lived in Las Vegas for 8 years, and I'm an old timer. Of course, you realize that the city has doubled its population in 10 years. Plus, you figure all the ones that came in couldn't handle it and left. And I'm probably only one of like 20 or 30% of the population that was around in those, 8 years ago. Here's your M&M's world and your world of Coca-Cola. This is fascinating and yet bizarre at the same time. I mean, whoever would figure, who would ever have thought that there would be enough interest, somebody would want to go into a place themed after M&M's or the world's largest Coke bottle. What's that all about, It's got to be little kids. I don't know. Has Kelly expressed interest in seeing the world of M&M's or the world of Coke?
No.
Oh, okay. Of course, the Showcase does live up to its name. You got the Showcase theaters. Those are some nice theaters, although I remember going in there watching some movies, and they had some very ditzy people. I remember the movie was starting, and these people were just going as slow as they possibly could. I think I missed the opening moments of the movie because they were so damn slow. GameWorks is still going. There was a sports bar, or sports themed cafe. Those themed cafes, with the exception of the Hard Rock Cafe, which is one of the originals, the themed cafes have just bit the dust. Here's some more of the Showcase Mall. New upscale restaurant called Smith and Walensky's. That's a new place. That's only been there for a year or so. I think it might have been there before. This Denny's has been here a long time. All these places built around it. I can remember what was here before. This place used to look like the very beginning of the strip. Remember the old dilapidated motels? Well, that's what this place looked like in the early 90s. Just full of dilapidated structures, and then they came along and replaced it. But MGM never bought up the entire property. They never, they didn't buy up all the properties, knock them down, and put landscaping in front of them like the Mirage did. Most hotels just in Vegas just do not want any sort of other businesses there in front of the hotel, and the MGM was an exception. Yet the MGM made money hand over fist and ended up buying out Mirage. You'd think it'd be the other way around. Only 3 companies basically control the strip now. MGM Mirage, Park Place Entertainment, which is the old Hilton, and Mandalay Bay, which is the old Circus Circus. Now there's a few others. Harrah's has a hotel on the strip. And of course the Venetian, the Frontiers, Stardust. The lion's share of the activity on this strip is controlled by 3 companies. I mean, it almost has become a Disneyland, where one company, you know, or in this case 3 companies, controls it all. Walgreens has come along in the middle. There's, what, 2 or 3 Walgreens now up on the corner. Here's the Polo Towers. Polo Towers, I worked for them. I got screwed by this outfit. Went to work one day and I found out I was making minimum wage. No warning, so I just walked out the door. Guy named Sheldon, or a guy named, well, Sheldon Klubeck was the dad. Stephen Klubeck controls this place. Avid Clinton supporter and Democrat. The man had security cameras. I mean, when I got the job at Polo Towers, I had to get a sheriff's card, a health card. When you came to work, you had to sign in. You had cards like the room code, where you had the little code to go into your office. I mean, it was Big Brother watching you all the way.
Why does the fire truck take the strip on the fire?
Makes no sense at all.
It's
Wow,
on the median now.
Yeah, he took the long way.
Wasn't there a better way to get it on?
Oh, there, I can think of one right off the top of my head. He could have turned in back there at Mandalay, or at Monte Carlo Drive, and then gone through the parking lot. Polo Towers, anyway. Polo Towers is your timeshare property. Now, I played a little joke on English Dave this spring. I went to the Clark County Fair, and there at the Clark County Fair was a car giveaway, a giveaway to win a free car. And having been in the timeshare enticement business in the past, and telemarketing in general, I knew exactly what that was. So I filled out the slip of paper and put Mr. Dave Thomas and Mrs. Helen Thomas. Then I put on the slip that he made $100,000 a year, and I put on there on the blank how many times do you go to Vegas? 12 times. So I put everything on there that these timeshare salesmen wanted to hear, and I put it in a little box. 3 weeks later, Dave gets the call, and they started calling that poor guy every week, and high-pressured him. They were high-pressured him just to show up for the timeshare presentation. So I had a little fun at Dave's expense. Of course, we moved out to different budget suites, but yeah, I put on there he made $100,000 a year, and those timeshare salesmen weren't going to let him go, you know. Now here we have the Harley Davidson Cafe. This is one of the few cafes that I've actually have done quite well and prospered. They had a concert with the Cult on New Year's of 2000, charged people $250 a ticket to go to. I refused to pay that kind of price. Behind it is the Aladdin, the new Aladdin. Now, Aladdin ushered in a new trend where they tear down the hotel and build a new one with the same name and the same theme. Same thing with the Desert Inn. And then several other extinct hotels like the Castaways and the Hacienda have sprung back to life in other locations. So never say die in Las Vegas. Who knows, they might even rebuild the dunes one of these days, although I doubt it because the place never made money. Here's a Travelodge. This place is, all this property is owned by one company, so imagine that eventually they're going to tear it down. I think Park Place owns all this. Aladdin Hotel was built by Jack Summer. The place is in trouble. The place's obituary's even been written, but Park Place has bought up all the stock, and so I think eventually they're going to give Summer the heave-ho, and this will be owned by Park Place, and they'll own this entire side of this street, just like the MGM Mirage owns the other side. Here's the Blue Note, a jazz and blues club, kind of patterned after the Hard Rock Cafe and the House of Blues. This is the new Aladdin and their Desert Passage. This is a unique mall. It wraps around the property. The mall is 3/4 of the mile around, even though all it does is wrap around the property, but it wraps around the exterior. So that's why the property is so long. Aladdin, of course, was built on the site of the original Aladdin. Original, and of course it's keeping up all the traditions of the Aladdin, including losing money. The other Aladdin couldn't make any money either. It was in and out of bankruptcy several times. Even the Japanese couldn't make money with the Aladdin. Elvis Presley was married at the Aladdin. The place has a long, long history. Coming up here on the right is the Paris. This is the this hotel, by contrast, has been a gold mine and a money maker from the time it opened. The place was only built for $750 million, while the other hotels were built for $1 billion, $1.5 billion, $2 billion. And the theme of Paris has been so popular, people want to go there. They want to see that Eiffel Tower. They want to go in, and they're fascinated with the theme of the Paris theme, and they're going in, and they're seeing it, and the place is making a lot of money. Here's the Paris sign. Paris was built on the site of Bob Stupak's friend. His name was Mayday, and he owned a sports betting place called Little Caesars. He was getting ready to build a hotel in Laughlin called Little Caesars when he died unexpectedly. This was a little strip mall. It was there was a Vietnamese restaurant in here. I think it was called Little Saigon or something like that. Barber shop, a few old things, and then that all came out for the Paris. So it's once again, here's your Eiffel Tower. Kind of a throwback to classic architecture. As you drive along here, it's hard to believe you're in Las Vegas when you see the trees and the classic architecture. This next hotel is Bally's, of course, built as the original MGM Grand in the early 1970s. It was the site of a disastrous fire. To get out of lawsuits, the place was rebuilt as Bally's. Even after Hilton bought it, kept the theme. Here's the Barbary Coast. It's owned by Coast Resorts. It's a local company. It's said that the Flamingo Hilton has been kicking itself for not. They had the chance to buy that property, didn't. They built the Barbary Coast on the site. So Flamingo Hilton does not border the street that it is named in its honor. Back of it does, not in front. Flamingo Hilton. This is where it all began on the Strip. This is Bugsy Siegel's original hotel. I had the privilege of seeing the original Flamingo before it was torn down in 1993. It was started from a little motel in the back, and they built out front. It's had several additions. I think they recently changed the name back to the Flamingo from the Flamingo Hilton. So it's once again just the Flamingo and not the Flamingo Hilton. They've built right to the street curb.
Flamingo Players Club. Only at the Flamingo. The payout paradise.
Yeah, no Flamingo Hilton, just Flamingo.
This is Bill Akowski. Come see my show, Lasting Impression. This is Clint Eastwood.
Actually, that show's supposed to be pretty good.
This is George Bush. And that show's got all my favorites, like Sinatra, Neil Diamond.
This is Muhammad Ali, and this show is the greatest of all time. This is Jones. Take it from me. Lasting Impressions with single impressions. Bill Akowski. 12.
Here's O'Shea's. This is owned by Park Place. This is really part of, even though it looks like it's a different place. This is owned by Flamingo. This is actually part of the Flamingo. Kind of Flamingo's answer to Slots of Fun, you know, just still cheap beer.
And the Orient Express.
Here's the Imperial Palace, the closest thing to a Nazi casino. Ralph Ingolstadt, the owner of this place, is an actual Nazi. He has Nazi parties, was even fined by the Gaming Commission for doing it. He has Hitler's car, the old Gestapo staff cars. He started to build the Flamingo Palace in the shape of a swastika until the county commission caught on to it and made him redesign the hotels. They're on their way to CSI is on their way. They might have just enough cases for CSI. After all, if they had real murders, Dog Stories wouldn't be the lead on Channel 3 every night. I guess no news is good news. This is Harrah's. This show originally had a riverboat as its theme, but after its adventures in Kansas City with their riverboat, they quickly changed the theme to a different theme. Changed it to New Orleans. The theme of this place is New Orleans and Mardi Gras. Even though there's a casino named Bourbon Street, another casino named Mardi Gras, and another one named the Orleans. So New Orleans has been a popular theme for casinos in Las Vegas. Very nice hotel. Now this hotel, they own this hotel in the Rio. It's nice little. This is another one of Phil Ruffin's hotels. Casino Royale, although the theme of the hotel is Nob Hill in San Francisco. I don't know where they get Casino Royale in San Francisco. Oh, here's your Metro cops keeping us safe. They're give you an idea. I guess they can catch speeders. They're going faster than the traffic is tonight. Here's the Venetian, home of Madame Tussauds. This is the side built on the side of the original Sands. This is where the Rat Pack was. Unfortunately, there's no sign of the Rat Pack here, except maybe in the Wax Museum. Yeah, I guess you can go in the Wax Museum and see the Rat Pack, but this is where they play. They're building another 1,000 suites onto this place, plus 3,000 rooms in a separate hotel building. This is owned by Sheldon Adelson, earned his fortune in the with conventions. He used to own the Computer Expo, Comdex. Here's another fading scene. This is the old mom and pop motels and shops. These will be coming out very soon. I'm surprised they're still here, frankly. This is going to be the site of the Venetian, at the hotel part of the Venetian. 7,000 rooms, 3,000 actual rooms, 4,000 suites. That's what's eventually going to be here. Well, here you see actual construction for the new Desert Inn. They've actually laying the water and sewer in along Spring Mountain for the new hotel. They're going to build a big lake. Wow, they're even working out here at nighttime. Yeah, you can see them digging up. This is going to be the site of the new hotel. Going to have 35-acre lake and golf course. They're going to tear up half the golf course. This will be a combination of condominiums, office towers like Century City in LA, and the new Desert Inn, possibly another hotel. The Desert Inn might be it, though. They're talking 7,000 rooms, a 50-story building.
Why is it all red then?
This was filmed for a Jackie Chan movie, and they filmed a Jackie Chan movie here. And that's this was for a Hollywood movie. Hotel is empty and deserted. The hotel is going to be imploded in a few months. This section here is brand new. It's only built a couple of years ago. They're talking about leaving it in for a while as a place to train hotel staff, and then it'll be imploded too. Parking garage might survive, because after all, they're going to need a place to park people when the new hotel comes in. So, yep, Desert Inn. Believe it or not, this church on the site is the site of the cathedral. This is a Catholic cathedral on the Strip. This church has also been used in TV shows and movies. It's actually been a prop. Desert Inn Golf Course is still open, and they plan to keep half of it open. And you guys have a little too much here. Mm-hmm. Probably lost his ass, and now he's stumbling away in pain and agony. Now we're entering old Las Vegas. You can see the glitter that's still there, what little remains. These signs here, this is the old Las Vegas, and I think it's a shame that I can remember coming through here in the 1980s and just being dazzled. To me, it's hard to be dazzled by this. It's impressive, but it's not dazzling. I guess that's the best way to put it. These have always been little shops. This shopping center has been here for years. It's just been remodeled, had new facades put on it. Not a whole lot has changed to this place. There's some old hotels that time has passed by. The Royal Nevada, the Debbie Reynolds paddle wheel, whatever they call it now. There's the Silver City structure for sale. Restaurant. This is old classic Las Vegas here. Here's the Riviera. This place refuses to change. This has adult reviews, and this is the old Las Vegas. It has stubbornly refused to change. They do not want children here. They want this to be racy and adult entertainment here. They refuse to change it, and good for them, you know. Good for them, because it's nice to know that a bit of the old Las Vegas is not going to succumb to progress. You see the Turnberry Place condominium and the Las Vegas Hilton in the background. There's a wedding chapel. This is the Algiers. This is a survivor. I don't know how much longer this will last. I think when Turnberry develops this, the pressure will be on to sell this. This is the site of the old El Rancho, which was formerly known as the Silverbird and the Thunderbird. Jack Ruby's friend Louis McWillie worked here right before the Kennedy assassination. Jack Ruby made a series of long-distance phone calls to this hotel that was on this site. It's been alleged that some of the conspiracy to kill JFK was committed right here on what's now this dirt lot. Right now it's this Turnberry Place. A lot of history here, a lot of mobbed up hotel that never made it. Now it's just a vacant lot. Here's the Sahara. This is one of the original structures. This used to be the Bingo Club in 1940. This is the Sahara from 1947 on. It's an old hotel. Across the street here was the site of the old original Rancho Vegas. The Rancho Vegas caught fire in 1960, and nothing was ever built on the site. This is the original Strip Hotel, was built on this site. Stood there from 1940 to 1960. From 1960 to the present day, nothing is there, although some of the property has been recently sold and is going to be the site of a Hilton Grand Vacation timeshare. I guess I'll have to slip them another slip of paper for my free card telling them my name's Dave Thomas and I make $100,000 a year and come to Vegas 12 times a year. Here's a roller coaster that goes. Here's a roller coaster that goes loops and goes backward. Matter of fact, we're going to see it go by right now. This is coming out of a NASCAR cafe. You can board your roller coaster. That roller coaster will go up the side of a steep embankment, then roll down the side, and the people will roll backwards. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see them roll back down. Yeah, here they come again. There they go. Didn't take long, did it? I spent more time waiting in line than they did. Now, the reason that you have this NASCAR themed place is because the owner of the Sahara, which is the former person that ran Circus Enterprises, is also an owner of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So there is direct tie-in to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway track. Here's the Holy Cow Casino. This was originally, these two places were originally a couple of small casinos. They've been strip clubs, they've been casinos. They now one's a general store and one's just a little, you know, piddly place. This is owned by the Big Dogs Hospitality Group. This is where you go watch your Chicago Bears. This is the closest they got to a cheesehead themed casino. Here we're rolling into the old Las Vegas. We're in the city of Las Vegas proper, where Oscar Goodman, the mob lawyer, is mayor. This is the Stratosphere Tower, built on the site of the old Vegas world. If you were to go on down here, you have wedding chapels, you have X-rated motels and adult bookstores, and you have hookers and lots of drugs. So this is the nightlife.
Look at the blinker.
Yeah. It's a small place called the Aztec. Oh,
There's the Stratosphere Tower.
Yeah, there's the Stratosphere Tower. Stratosphere had started to buy up all the places along here. They only got half of them bought out before they went broke. So now you got a lot of vacant lots and stuff. And yeah, we're also to the neighborhood just to the west of the Stratosphere Tower is a place called Naked City. It was settled by the Mariel Cubans that were the criminals that Castro threw out of his jails and mental hospitals. The place has always been one of the sleaziest, most sordid neighborhoods in town. I remember that the rent's cheap though. You ain't gonna rent a room for $100 a week, but who'd want to live back there?
Do you turn here?
I don't see anything that says no. Yeah, I'd do it. All right. Circle K. And is there any other commentary to add here?
I don't know. Is that the end of the tour?
Well, we've yeah, that's about it. The only thing that still mysterious, and I don't know how much longer it'll go on, but this is the boundary line between two Las Vegases. We've got this. Right now we're in incorporated Las Vegas and we're going into unincorporated Las Vegas. I don't know why, but they actually have two separate governments. The Clark County Commission functions as a city government for this area of unincorporated Las Vegas. I think Oscar Goodman would eventually like the city of Las Vegas to take this place over.
What about downtown?
That's the city. That's where Oscar. That's where Oscar rules. There's your tattoo place.
So will anything ever be built across from the Sahara and that empty lot?
Oh, I think eventually. I think eventually it will. The owner of the Sahara had sold it to a person who was going to build a country and western themed bar or casino, but that went nowhere. I think the place, I think the land went back to the Sahara. Now the Sahara did sell the south portion of the property to the Hilton Grand Vacations, and so a medium-rise condo is going to go up there next to the Circus Circus. And I think eventually something will go there. Trouble is, this part of the strip needs a lot of work. And it possibly could perk up if Turdberry did something to their property, or it also could follow, the Desert Inn and the City by the Bay casino. If they took off, there's a good possibility that something will come here. Las Vegas has become a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, I've talked to you know, foreigners. I talked to a lady in Canada the other day on business, and getting a call from somebody from Las Vegas was the highlight of her night. There is something about this city. People are interested in it from all walks of life. I mean, this city is not just an American phenomenon anymore, it's a world city. And I think this next round of casinos is really going to propel it into the world's imagination. And yet, I think in some measure the image has changed. I know one thing Dave has told me, this really is a, you know, in a way it's a little funky, but basically it's a clean, safe city. He said he used to hear sirens all the time in Phoenix. You don't see siren, at least back in the neighborhoods, that much. You don't see sirens. So, you know, there are some bad parts of town. There's one thing about Vegas is there's not too many cities where you have nice houses within a mile of downtown. I mean, you go to a mile from the downtown, you have nice residential areas. Once again, this is where the Strip began. This is the site of the old Rancho Vegas. It was built in 1940. This used to be, the old name for Sahara was San Francisco Avenue. All the avenues along here named after cities back east. This was named after San Francisco. And then this is where the Strip began, and there was nothing out here but desert. It used to be a 2-lane highway going to Los Angeles. Matter of fact, this street's original name was Los Angeles Highway. And then it eventually became known as Las Vegas Boulevard, the Strip. Matter of fact, it's LA Highway here in 5th Street. I think it was 5th Street even into the 60s. I think it was around the 70s that they changed it to Las Vegas Boulevard. More and more of a Hollywood presence in Las Vegas. I know Oscar Goodman's going to visit some Hollywood people. They're talking about building a couple of different television complexes and movie film complexes here. So, yeah, Pahrump. I'd say Las Vegas, though, have it more than Pahrump. Art Bell notwithstanding. Well, let's see. Yeah. Yes, this lot here has been the site of more dreams. I mean, there was going to be the last thing that was going to be built here was a casino that was going to have live rodeos every night, and they were going to have 2 40-story cowboy. But yeah, they were going to shape the hotel. They were going to have 2 towers, and each one was going to be shaped like a cowboy boot. Just like this place down in Padre Island, Texas, I know, it's shaped like a cowboy boot. So they're going to have 2 cowboy boot-shaped towers, and that was going to be built here. Then the WWF was interested in buying this site, and they were going to have a WWF hotel. That went the way of the XFL.
Who owns the property?
I think it's owned back again by Circus Circus. Or no, not Circus Circus. The guy that owns the Sahara.
Oh.
My mind escapes me. I forgot the guy's name now. Bennett. Robert Bennett. Owns this place. Now, here's an interesting... Now, there's not been a hotel on this site for 40 years. And yet these pine trees have survived all this time without water. I mean, this is a testament to the staying power of a pine tree in the Mojave Desert. You know, I mean, these trees have not been watered in 40 years, and yet they've survived. Of course, they quit growing. They didn't grow into big pine trees, but they managed to survive without water for 4 decades. I mean, that's amazing. Matter of fact, this is where the actual casino stood. You can see by these pine trees here, this is where the hotel stood. Matter of fact, I remember a promotional picture for the Rancho Vegas that showed the guy that played Hamilton Berger from Perry Mason sitting around the swimming pools talking to a starlet. Talman, I think, wasn't his name William Talman? Yeah, William Talman, that played Hamilton Berger. They used him as in a promotional piece. So from the 1950s. Place burned down in 1960 in a suspicious fire, by the way. It was an arson fire. Celebrities used to stay there. That it was actually kind of a sawdust themed place, and celebrities stayed there. And place burned down in a mysterious fire. It's probably one mob group against the other, and was never rebuilt. I think Howard Hughes even owned this property at one time. 40 years ago, and nothing has ever. Now here's the part that's been sold off. This is going to be the site of the Hilton Grand Vacations.